just want to show you this other commercial site. I always like pointing out fantastic landscapes and landscape design concepts when I come across them. And I'm here in Costa Mesa, California at shopping center, and I want to show you another excellent use of synthetic turf that they have here. They have some really good design concepts from the standpoint of the planter beds at this commercial site, and they utilize synthetic turf here. So I wanted to show you a really good practical use of synthetic turf and encourage those that have commercial sites or have high traffic areas that this is an excellent use of that turf. Check it out. First of all, when you come into the structure, the parking lot area here, you notice they have these planter beds, and they have some really nice giant, actually not giant, some bird of paradise, very drought tolerant, water conserving plants. And actually these particular plants are the official plant of Los Angeles, is bird of paradise. But if you notice there, they have drip tubing, so they have drip just irrigating these bird of paradise. They usually are really prolific during the winter time. They put out a lot of blooms and stuff like that, but they're very easy to maintain. They don't require a lot of water, so they're really good practical use for a parking strip area. Over another side here, you have olive trees and some really nice boulders. These look like Cresta boulders, Baja Cresta, come out of Mexico. We use those quite a bit when I do landscape designs and projects. We have a couple designers that really like to design those in. We have an olive tree here. It may be what they call a beerless, actually like it's a variety of olive tree. I can't think of a Swan Hill. Yeah, those Swan Hill has a variety of olive tree that doesn't produce a lot of fruit, if at all. But they have these really nice olive trees out in the front, and these aloe plants here. These are really nice. During the visit up at the Altadena fire zone area this past weekend, these particular plants here are one of the biggest survivors of the fires. It's kind of hard to believe, but they are very, very drought and fire tolerant from what I've seen up there in Altadena. But you see the bird of paradise. This is what they look like when they get ready to do their bloom and come out. And this is the finished product right here. Look at that. Nice flower heads there. Those are your giant bird of paradise. You have some dynelias, which add a really good filler, and you kind of fill in along the fence line there. And that's what this planter bed is doing over here. They got this wood chip mulch in here. This wood chip mulch is kind of weird. I don't really like this kind of stuff. It looks like it's just a bunch of wood products that came from like a lumber yard or something like that they chipped up. It looks like it's old pallets and stuff like that. But for a commercial site, I guess is great. This was probably like a brown dye that they used here. So I'm not a fan of that kind of mulch, but budget-wise, it probably worked well. Well, you can see the synthetic turf here. See how they use it around in this one planter bed area, around this olive tree. And they have a really nice planter down in here. The gravel is kind of displaced into the synthetic turf, and so they would have to use a vacuum or whatever to bring that up out of there. I probably would have used a crushed gravel, a little bit larger crushed gravel. That way, you wouldn't have it all over here in the turf. But all in all, from the standpoint of a bedding area going into a business, this is excellent use of the synthetic turf. It's going to always be nice and green. You more likely have drip tubing around that tree, so we'll have adequate water. And as you look over here on the other side of the parking lot, they have the same concept going on here. We have our palm trees that actually need to be pruned with those seeds. They have the soft fruits up there, so the palms these are queen palms, and look like they're ready to be trimmed from the fruit. Over here has same concept. You see where the gravel is kind of out here in the synthetic turf, and I probably would have used, like I said, a larger size gravel here in this pit. These palms they're doing really well. They don't have to worry too much about roots and stuff like that, because there's more of a fibrous root with palm trees, and more likely to have it on a drip. so they're getting drip irrigation. But as you see, it's really nice and clean. As you walk down here and look down the middle of this parking lot in the median, it's synthetic turf. It's installed really nice. Got a couple areas, got a little bit of grass coming through, I mean weeds and stuff like that, but all in all, it's installed really well. It looks good, it looks clean and functional. Don't have to worry about trash and stuff accumulating between the shrubs. You don't have to worry about pruning the shrubs and all that kind of stuff like that. In these middle areas, it's easy passageway back and forth through the parking lot for people getting out of their cars. You don't have to worry about running in the shrubs and walking over stuff. So that's a really good use of the synthetic turf. So this is just another application. I was going to show you how it's used and what I would definitely give a thumbs up from the standpoint of installing synthetic turf in the backyard, or in the front yard possibly, but this is a better use of it in this highly trafficked area. This is your planter bed right here. Excuse me. It's the planter bed right here. It's highlighting some succulents there in bloom. This time of year, a lot of aloes, they're putting out blooms and blossoms in the wintertime. Sometimes they look pretty gnarly looking through the year, but they really put out really beautiful flowers, as you can see here. And wintertime is normally when they do their show. Here is some bottlebrush, some variety. I can't place the variety of this particular type of shrub, but it's what they also call like a bottle brush because of the way that the flowers are. Really nice drought tolerant shrub. As you can see, they help to provide a little bit of camouflage for this electrical power unit. Really nice color, not a lot of maintenance involved, always full of flowers. Look at that, all this here is all going to be blooms. And this particular shrub, it blooms pretty much throughout the year. So you'll have a show of flowers and blossoms and blooms throughout the year. So that's a really good thing from the standpoint of aesthetics. And the way that they have them situated, they can let them grow up a little bit more to help give you more camouflage for these posts and for this electrical unit. And but that's pretty much the scope of it on how they have different things going on here at this parking lot and shopping center. So they took out a lot of the traditional planter beds where they probably had shrubs and stuff in here and replaced it with synthetic turf. Here's an idea of a common planter bed with Dinella. Dinella is good in certain areas, but if you look at it here in this application, it looks pretty nasty in my opinion. It's kind of spiky looking, kind of corrodic. May need to have some nutrients and stuff, but it's pretty ratty looking in my opinion as you come into the parking structure. It has a flower, but it's not really impressive. It has its place, but it seems like that's out of place. Here's a conventional planter bed where you have these shrubs. These it looks like they're natal plum, and they have to be trimmed. So there's a maintenance issue here. You have to come in at least about once a month, or at least twice a month, to keep these in trim. You have your Raphaelis, Indian hawthorn back there looking really good as a foundation base around the base of the building. Then you have Dinellas in the middle, and as you can see, they look pretty wild. Just not for me, not that pleasing. I would probably use something different, but you can just see how when you have a conventional planter bed, people throw stuff in it, trash, whatever. So it's a maintenance issue. So you have to come in and maintain this. You have to clean it up. You have to trim, especially with these hedges. You have to trim these hedges. So there's maintenance involved. So maintenance means time and money. And so from the standpoint of a budget issue, you have to have a certain budget in order to take care of these plants to keep them in a good shape. Out here in the front, we have a lot of, this looks like Muhlenbergia, which is great. This is a really nice drought tolerant, water conserving landscape here. Probably could use some more mulch out here, which you have your crepe myrtle trees that are going to be blooming up pretty soon. Kind of surprised they have crepe myrtles here because we're pretty close to the ocean here in Costa Mesa, probably like about maybe 2 miles and down the hill is the ocean. One thing I point out about the lodgepoles, this lodgepole is of no value, so it should be removed. You can see the straps here where it's just, look at that, it's just hanging there, it's just there. I mean, it's no real practical use for it. So when the gardeners and whoever does the maintenance here, they should take that pole and just throw it away. They don't need it, so it's just leaning against the tree. There's one that's down on the ground right there. So the maintenance crews, they're not even coming up in here. That pole, like it's been laying there for a long time. And there's weed issues, and so this whole planter bed area should be, in my opinion, they need to be remulched because you're going to have all kind of weeds and stuff growing up in here. Looks like this area is watered with rotary nozzles, and you got a combination of rotaries, plus you have pop-ups in here. So this configuration of what they have going on, it's a mix of this and that. They're mixing heads, like that pop-up head there is a rotating nozzle. It's an MP rotator. So they're working at conserving water. You come down here and you have a conventional spray head that is like it's a Rainbird and probably just a Rainbird adjustable nozzle from the standpoint of what angles and stuff you get. So they got mixed heads. You got 3 different heads in less than 5 feet. You got a rotator up there, a high-end rotator that's there, a rotor. Then you got conventional pop-ups with different types of nozzles in there. So irrigation-wise, you have an overkill and just a weird matchup. You can see in the soil down here where this drain is green, to whereas you know that it's a lot of water that's gravitating down into this drainage area here. And this happens, I don't know how often they have this thing on, but you can kind of look at the soil, and some of the soil's kind of got a green tinge to it, but it's going to be nothing but weeds up in here. And this is the main intersection as you come in, so it's a high focal point where people sit here and wait for the traffic to change. And so it's just a real, look at that, look at the moss. You can see the moss there where it's a lot of excessive irrigation going on here. You shouldn't have this kind of moss, especially in a full sun exposure. This is the north, but this is a full sun exposure area situation. You have some more rotators out here that are broken off and things, so they need to come through here and actually do a remulching and to actually just do a drip system. This grass is called Nacelia. I hate it because it goes everywhere. And this application is great because filling up this whole section here wouldn't be a bad deal to have it take over. But this was probably the only situation I would use this stuff, because this is notorious. It's really, really hard to get rid of it because when it goes to seed, you can't hardly see the seeds, but when it goes to seed, it just goes everywhere. So in this use out here, it's great because they can just fill this whole area up with that grass and it'll be fine. You can see where a lot of it's been seeded and it's starting to take off in places that you know for a fact that nobody planted. See the tree roots are surfacing up. So irrigation wise, this section of the property out here in the front, it could use some attention. Maybe they'll work their way into taking care of the frontage of the property, but from the standpoint of in the middle where all the parking lot is and the medians and stuff like that, they're taking care of that, so they're saving some money and they got a really nice look going into the medium area. Here you got situations where you have signs blown over and you got your drip irrigation that's exposed. So this place needs to have a remulching. You got the drip irrigation going on over here. This was a planter bed at one time and there's nothing going out here. Yeah, it looks like it has subsurface drip underneath this turf area. So irrigation wise, it needs a tune-up. But other than that, those are the negatives that we point out at this shopping center. But also the positives, at least they have the synthetic turf going on. So they did allow a budget to do something so it's not like a total disaster. But hopefully this step with the synthetic turf is the first step, and then working on that frontage and stuff based on budget will be the next step. So there you go, a little evaluation of a commercial job site. Whenever I come across opportunities to point out some things that are positive and negative, I try to share with the people here on my channel, and hopefully you can get some ideas and tips and take those to heart and just realize it for your best interest. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Hit that notification bell so that when videos like this come up, you can be able to take a look at it and let me know what you think. And most importantly, share this channel with your friends and your colleagues. I'm working to build up my channel here so I can do more videos, better videos, and service you better. Because I'm your landscaping coach, L.Wallace, Midwest Landscaping. See you in the next show.